The Legend of Zelda Tears of the Kingdom adds some funky lore, okay? This game was so good. I love this game. Don't worry about my last two videos. I love this game, okay? But the lore it adds is so confusing. Also, before we get into it, I've been wanting to get a whiteboard for years, okay? I wanted to get a big wheeled one where I could push it around, but they're expensive and I'm poor, so subscribe so I can get a bigger whiteboard. Thank you very much. Where's my marker? The keyboard was hiding it. Why did I grab yellow and brown? This is not what I wanted. We'll go with this color. This is kind of Tears of the Kingdom color, right? You can't see that! Why am I writing so tiny? I need a darker color.
I dropped it.
I've only had this whiteboard literally one day and I'm already losing things. I need more space. I barely had enough room, but I got it all in here. This is the Legend of Zelda timeline, okay? Obviously there's other things that happen in here, but this is the big gist, right? You have Skyward Sword, a couple games here, Ocarina. Ocarina of Time happens, boop, 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 timeline split. All right, let's talk about the timeline. We have, you know what? We've got the child timeline, the adult timeline, and the defeat timeline. Yes, I misspelled defeat on purpose, all right? There's a bunch of games here. Most of the games are here, right? And then something happens, we don't know why, all right? And we get Breath of the Wild, which then leads to Tears of the Kingdom. So far, the community has vastly agreed that Breath of the Wild is the convergence of all the timelines, right? We could be wrong. I don't think Nintendo's confirmed it. But that is what most of the community agrees on. And obviously, Tears of the Kingdom is a sequel to Breath of the Wild, right? Yes, I erased some of it. Don't even worry about it. The problem with this game is Zelda goes to the past, right? To the first king of Hyrule. And you'd say, okay, easy. First king. That makes it easy. No, because there are three theories with that. Three, okay, see? There are three different spots on the timeline that Zelda could be. Let's just start chronological order. Theory number one, before Skyward Sword, the first king of Hyrule. This Hyrule, hypothetically, right, is the one where Hyrule comes down, he establishes Hyrule, they beat Ganon. In this theory, which I'm gonna link the creator's name right here, I think it's Absurd Zelda Theory, but I could be wrong, I'll double check. This person suggests that they beat Ganon, the spirit of Ganon leaves and becomes Demise, okay? I kinda like that theory hella hard. Then Hyrule loses, they go up into the sky, Skyward Sword happens, they go back to the land. Easy. Theory number two, this is after Skyward Sword. This is when they come back and reestablish the Kingdom of Hyrule after Demise is defeated. Theory number three, all of this happens, right? The Kingdom of Hyrule gets destroyed, and we see the first king of Hyrule here, Rauru, coming down and reestablishing Hyrule after some big calamity, you could say, right? You thought that was all. Okay, there's more. Another timeline. Sorry if you can't read that. I have no idea how to estimate the size properly. Another timeline. This is a theory that there is potentially a fourth timeline under Ocarina of Time, or a different timeline split somewhere else in all of what you just saw. And that's what leads to Breath of the Wild. A new story. Screw the other games. Screw the 30 years of lore. Breath of the Wild and Tears of the Kingdom are their own story, not connected to any of the other Zelda games at all. That's a theory. Also, this has nothing to do with timeline, but kind of. It was stated that the sages, I don't know how many were alive at this point, lifted the little tutorial island from Tears of the Kingdom into the sky. This was when they were still alive. So no matter where it falls on the timeline, even if it's just right before Breath of the Wild, I find it absolutely implausible that even if it is just Breath of the Wild, that we never saw the floating islands. if it's at the very beginning of the timeline, sorry, I didn't realize I was gonna get into this. I'm mad at myself for erasing the timeline now. That means it was there in every single game, and we didn't notice a flying island? Also, if it's after Skyward Sword, same thing, just excluding Skyward Sword. You thought we were done with timeline shenanigans, okay? We also need to figure it out. This is the Breath of the Wild timeline, right? We have the first Calamity, the second Calamity, Breath of the Wild, Tears of the Kingdom, except for the fact Hyrule Warriors, Age of Calamity, right? Which should actually be here. Those are connected. Starts another timeline! They just merged the timelines to split them again. And I know some people think Hyrule Warriors isn't canon, but other people's do, myself included. Also talking about Hyrule Warriors, there's the first game, which I believe is the combination of all the timelines. I know a lot of people think it's Breath of the Wild. I also know that some people think it's Tears of the Kingdom, and that when Zelda goes back in time, she creates another time loop, right? Another time loop. That's this. This is Zelda, time loop, okay? They believe that she fixed the timeline. That her going back in time merged all of them together. That's a theory. I can't remember who came up with it. I'll try and find it. It should be in my watched videos. I'll put their name right here. So it could be Tears of the Kingdom. I personally believe it's Hyrule Warriors, the first game. Merges all the timelines. I know a lot of people don't like it. I know a lot of people don't think it's canon, but it's canon to me, alright? It's canon in my heart. Okay, we have the Zelda family tree here, alright? First off, we got Sonia, Zelda's great, at least 12 greats, if not more, grandmother. Or maybe not, if it's right before Breath of the Wild, after the timelines merge, okay? Sonia, her grandma, who is a furry, confirmed, just wanted to bring it up, marries Rauru. I know I spelled his name wrong, correct me in the comments. This right here is the long Zelda family tree, right? There's like tons of generations here, don't even worry about it, I don't want to write it all out. This, though, directly is Rauru and Sonia's child, which we know they had to have had. Why? Because they both die in Tears of the Kingdom, and we never see an heir. There has to have been an heir. There has to have been. Sonia specifically says, "We're blood. I can feel that we share blood," which technically that also is true, but don't worry about it. Who is this child, and why wasn't it mentioned once? I'm sorry, but you would have thought they would have introduced Zelda to their kid, right? Just me? No? Okay. Next we need to talk about Ganondorf, right? Because here's the thing, if this falls in the timeline after Skyward Sword, and he is the very first reincarnation of Demise, how the hell was he reincarnated after Tears of the Kingdom? Because he doesn't die, they don't kill him, right? There's been two major theories for Ganon. One, that he's reincarnated, one, that it's just all kind of the same guy. Right? I think there's more lore-wise saying Ganon is just the same guy. I don't really like that, though. There's gotta be at least multiple Ganons. We know that now. We know that now for sure, that there are multiple Ganons. There has to have at least been a couple more, right? Because Demise specifically says, "You will fight my reincarnation," blah 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 blah, right? So, if Demon King Ganondorf, the first Ganondorf that fought Rauru, right? Neither of these theories work. He can't be the same guy because he's alive and imprisoned. He also can't be reincarnated because he's alive and imprisoned, right? It just really bothers me. So that's why I like the theory that when Rauru says he's the first King of Hyrule, this is before Demise. And that this Ganondorf got imprisoned. His soul got lifted up into the heavens and got reincarnated as Demise, which then got reincarnated as Ganondorf again. But we don't know, because it's not really confirmed. Okay, here's just a quicker draw up of the timeline. I think you all know what this is. If Demon King Ganon is here, it completely messes up with all the other Ganons in my head. Again, how can he be reincarnated if he never dies? How can he be the same guy if we see the same guy trapped right here? If this is Demon King Ganon, and like we talked about, there's a theory that Hyrule was destroyed, and that the first king of Hyrule, Rauru, is actually not the first king, but the first king after it was rebuilt, then that's okay, because the only Ganon we see after that is Calamity Ganon. Again, how is Calamity Ganon reincarnated? Here, right? Well, technically it'd be right here when we see the first Calamity. How would he be reincarnated? So there's still some holes, but it's better than all of these other Ganons, right? And then if he's here before Skyward Sword, I don't know. I feel mixed on this one, because in terms of Ganon and reincarnation, this one makes the most sense. That Demise is Demon King Ganon's spirit. But it feels weird that Ganon's spirit would then be reincarnated as Demise, and then be reincarnated again as Ganon? I don't know. What do you guys think? Also, here's my biggest issue with this Ganon right here. This is Ganon. This is the first Ganon, Skyward Sword, after Skyward Sword, if this one is true, right? See, even Kaya's mad at it. Don't lick that. Actually, no, wait.
I thought it would be cute to have an assistant. I don't want my cat to die.
And here's my problem. Demise, capital D, Demise, curses Zelda and Link, right, to be reincarnated. If this is where Tears of the Kingdom falls, right after, why wouldn't Link and Zelda be there? I know technically Zelda was there. I know she was, but not a birthed one. She got sent back in time. Why aren't they there? It just feels weird that the first time Ganon gets reincarnated, Zelda and Link wouldn't be there. I don't know. It's gone. Rauru and Sonia, I just had it written here. Rauru and Sonia, here. Maybe they're the reincarnation of Link and Zelda. Maybe. It's just weird. I don't know. This video was just the angry ranting of a man who loves lore. I love lore. It's one of my favorite parts of novels, books, movies, games. It's so cool and it's so fun to look into these worlds. And so I want the Zelda timeline and I want the lore to be good. It just is confusing and I want a definitive answer, and that's kind of the whole point of this video. I don't have the answers, right? I just want to bring up the question so us as a community can find them. Or maybe they'll tell us. That would be preferred. Anyway, thank you guys so much for watching. Seriously, subscribe or else I'll split the Zelda timeline again. And I mean that. I will if this is a threat. Goodbye, everybody.